Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Nikhil will take the session.
Yeah, hi, good morning. Hello. I'm audible.
Yeah, Nikhil.
Yeah. So hi, Lukraj. Hi, Sandeep. Hi, Ruxana. Hi, Vishal. So today we'll discuss about CloudWatch. Yes, am I properly audible? Is there any lag in my voice? Hello. You can unmute yourself, no problem. You're speaking if you're unmute.
Yes, Nikhil.
Yeah, Nikhil, we can hear you.
Yeah, fine. So today we'll discuss about the AWS CloudWatch. So how many of you know about this CloudWatch service and why is it important? You have any idea?
CloudWatch is like a monitoring purpose in AWS.
Okay. What is the use of that? So why do we do monitoring? Let's start with the basics. Why do we do the monitoring? Everyone can unmute yourself. I don't want you to be unmute. So I just want to capture proper responses from everyone. I need active participation.
I guess this is to filter the network traffic, Nikhil.
Let me
If I'm
share my
not wrong.
screen. No, that's a good try, but let me share my screen. So you're able to see my notepad, right?
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah. So basically, we will be having, so what, as in cloud engineers, what we'll do? We'll be provisioning infrastructure in cloud. So infrastructure like EC2 or VMs, in the EC2 in AWS and VMs in Azure. Okay. So you will be hosting an application on top of this EC2 missions or VMs. All right. So once you install the application, who is going to look after the applications? Suppose if your application, it's consuming high CPU, high RAM, high disk space, someone should monitor it, right? So we can't go each and every minute to check the metrics of the particular EC2 instance. Am I right? So to look into the particular infrastructure metrics, we will be using AWS CloudWatch. So here what we will do, we'll get the metrics like CPU, RAM, disk space. So these are the basic metrics. But apart from that, you can still, if you want to dig more into the metrics, you can see the throughput, the error rate, and this response time. So what is response time? Suppose your application, so you have one URL, or you have one application, right? So you you will be assigning a particular URL to the application, right? Suppose it is www.zomato.com. So how many of you are aware of this traffic flow? Suppose if you hit an URL in the website, what will be happening in the backend? How many of you are aware of this particular process? Shal, Jansi, Sandeep.
I'm not having the clear picture actually. If you can explain this.
Yeah, sure. So when you hit an website or URL, so it will, so in the background, there will be so many things happening. Like it's like it will go to DNS resolver. Why DNS resolver? So you will be hitting www.zomato.com. So computer only understands the numbers, right? It won't understand this alphabetical URLs and all. So what it will be doing, it will be resolving this particular Zomato into an IP address. Suppose for Google, we have 8.8.8.8. If you type 8.8.8 in Google, probably, let me see here. 8.8.8.8. See, it's giving the DNS. So the Google's, so we only remember Google name. We don't know this IP, right? So it's very difficult to remember all these kind of IPs. So instead of remembering the IPs, what we'll do is we'll be assigning your name to that particular IP address. So it will go to the DNS resolver. It will look for the particular IP. And then there will be something called as three-way handshake. So the packet is traveling from your web browser to DNS resolver. So someone should acknowledge it, right? Okay, I received the packet and I will be sending you the response. So there's something called three-way handshake. So your browser will be sending a response to the DNS server, and the DNS servers will be sending, okay, I got a packet, I got a request from you. And then it will be sending acknowledged packet from it. Then our browser will be sending HTTP. It will establish TCP connection, this 443 or 80 port. So 443 is for HTTPS and 80 for HTTP. So you know the difference between HTTP and HTTPS, right? HTTP is something it's not secure, right? It works only on 80 port. HTTPS, when you have this SSL certificate installed in the particular server, we call it HTTPS. So everything will be encrypted in that HTTPS. It is much secure than HTTP. So it will establish a TCP connection. It will get the required, so whatever is there in this particular domain, right? What you're requesting. Suppose if you're ordering some groceries or any food from the particular Zomato, it will grab that particular web page, will render the web page, and it will display it to you. So my intention of explaining this process is, so there is so many things happening in a background whenever you're trying to hit an URL, right? So same time, if your application is hosted on EC2, so what you will do, this will be a public application, right? So you'll be giving this URL to the customers or to the world. Suppose you have Zomato.com, everyone can go and access Zomato.com. So whenever there's a increase in traffic or increase in CPU memory, increase in RAM, increase in disk space, what we need to do? We need to immediately go into the particular EC2 instance. We need to check the logs. We need to check the disk space, and if it is disk space, we need to increase the disk space. If it is a CPU or RAM issue, we need to go and kill the processor of the particular RAM or the particular CPU. So this is what we're going to do. So in order to watch all these metrics, we're going to use AWS native solution, which is called AWS CloudWatch. So is there any doubts till here?
No, Nikhil.
No.
So without this basic monitoring, so there is no point of just simply hosting a application EC2. So whenever you are coming to cloud, there will be three parts basically. So one is networking, another is infrastructure, the third one is monitoring. So why do we need networking? So all your infrastructure will be basically where are you going to place your infrastructure? Can anyone answer? Why networking is important?
To connect to the outer world and to the internal network as well.
The connection between the infrastructure.
Yes. So basically, without VPC, you can't host an EC2 instance, right?
Yes.
So if you want to install and you want to provision an EC2 instance, we need the networking first. So whenever you start learning cloud, you need to properly learn the networking part initially. So what is VPC and all? So yeah, the VPC comes in place. So inside VPC, you all know the route table, subnets, and NACL, security groups and all. And the infra part, we start with basic EC2, and there's so many other infrastructure as well, like RTS, like Lambda. And to monitor this, whether it's working fine or not, time to time, we use AWS CloudWatch. The flow should be like this. So why you have monitoring means? So to analyze the particular application, how it's working, what is the functionality of that particular application, what is the response time. To analyze all these metrics, we'll be using CloudWatch. So this is basically AWS native solution. So apart from CloudWatch, did anyone aware of any other solutions apart from CloudWatch? So we have something called New Relic. I have one more Datadog. We have Site 24/7. We have Sensu. Fana. So these are the basic tools which we are using to monitor this AWS infrastructure. So in my current project, we are using New Relic, Datadog, and Site 24/7, Sensu, Grafana. And in some other projects, people use Sumo Logic. So basically, these are the main tools which we'll be using. So today I will walk you through all these tools. Let me start with AWS CloudWatch. Before starting, let me give an overview. So we just discussed about this metrics, right? So this AWS CloudWatch, it will give you an overview of your infrastructure, basically the CPU, RAM, and disk. But what New Relic do is, it will give you an overview of this application performance. So you can simply say it as an APM. This is what New Relic do. So what is difference between this New Relic and AWS CloudWatch? Anyone, the name itself is there. What is the difference between this New Relic and CloudWatch? Have any idea? Any guesses?
CloudWatch actually monitors all of the resources, right? Like CPU, RAM, disk space, and throughput, error rate. But this New Relic is dedicated for application performance only.
Exactly. So we use this New Relic to check how the application is performing. The application which is hosted on EC2 will check the functionality of this application. That's why we use New Relic. Basically, it's mainly used by developers and the DevOps team and developers. Datadog is similar to CloudWatch, but it's a third-party tool where we'll be getting the same CPU, RAM, what is the Kubernetes cluster which are installed in a particular EC2. I can say it's similar to CloudWatch. Site 24/7. So all these three tools is there, right? These three tools do the same job. It will monitor the infrastructure. The thing is, like, depending upon the company's requirement, depending upon the licenses cost, they will go with the various tools. The company is already having existing Datadog license. What they'll simply use the same Datadog tool. So the license got expired. They'll look for the cheaper license. Then they'll come with a Site 24/7, Sensu or Grafana. Depending upon the requirements, they'll be choosing these monitoring tools. So let me quickly show you how the New Relic will work. So I'm currently working for a project called Big Basket. So this is how the Neuralink console looks like. Okay, so if you go to the, whenever you come to Neuralink, one thing we need to see is all these entities are listed, right? So these are called the applications.
Nikhil, we can't see your screen. We can't see anything.
Is it? Sorry, let me share my screen. Now able to see my screen?
Ah, yes. Yep. No, all right.
All right, right. So there is a Neuralink console. Is it visible, guys?
Yep.
So if you go to the APMs, the application performance point. So in the current project, this prod admin or prod environments, this www.bigbasket.com is here, right? This particular URL, the particular application has been hosted in 10 EC2 instances. See here. So this is how we'll, this is the web transaction time. You come to this Neuralink, here you can see what are the services which are running, how the Python, MySQL, JHulk, Hulk, and what are the these all are internal applications which are in this particular application. All this application will be using all these services, Python, MySQL, Elasticsearch. Solar is kind of an this one, a database kind of thing, Solar. So here basically what we will see is, if you click on this related deployments, you can see what are the deployments that has been made, and if there is any spike on the particular on a particular time, so you can see the spike, right? So usually the basic monitoring, so basically there is no spike till 12 o'clock. The sudden spike in the sudden spike by 4:37 here. You can see. Let me. See, what we monitor is the response time. The response time is fine till here, right? See, if it is, if you can see till this mark, the response time is fine. So what the basic threshold which we set is, if it is below 350 milliseconds, that is fine. But you can see, yes, suddenly it's got spiked to more than 1K, 1.05K. At this point of time, you need to investigate why this second spike has been happened. Investigate in the sense. So here, what we are seeing is a response time, right? So response time is something like the customer is hitting the particular website and the website is responding back to the customer, but there's a lag in the response. Usually it takes 300 milliseconds, but on this particular time between 5:37 a.m., it took more than 1 minute to respond to the particular request. That is what we capture in the response time, the web transactions time. Any questions or any doubts?
No, all good, Nikhil.
So will you be monitoring Neuralink? If in the interview someone asks you what will you be monitoring in Neuralink, we'll be basically monitoring about the response times, how the application is performing, and the AppDex score. If you come to the AppDex score, it should be always between 0 to 1. What is AppDex score? AppDex score means how the satisfaction metrics of the customer. So suppose if you are a customer of Big Basket, how satisfied are you by using this particular website URL? Suppose if it's taking 1 minute or more than 30 seconds, will you stay on the same website? No, right? You will just simply close it and you will try to use another grocery provisioning website. So this AppDex score, if you see here the definition, AppDex industry standard that measures your user satisfaction with response time of your web application service. So the ideal score is it should be there between 0 to 1. So we will be checking the response time, the throughput, how many instances have been there. So all these 10 instances have been installed for this particular application. This particular application, www.basket.com, is hosted on this 10 EC2 instances. So this is New Relic. I'll show you how Datadog looks like. So you're able to see my screen. I open the notepad now.
We can see your, yes. No, Nikhil. We can't.
So you'll be getting a question, what is like how Datadog is a third party tool, right? It's not an AWS related AWS native service. So how Datadog collects all the metrics and push it to Datadog dashboard. So what will be happening in the background is Datadog will be installing an agent. So before installing agent, we need to establish a trust relationship AWS, right? Because without trust relationship, how can AWS send all the metrics to a certain monitor, right? So there should be certain process where AWS is going to trust the provider, and it will be sending the metrics to the particular provider. So we need to create an IAM user. We need to create some policies, and then we need to use some keys will be there. I'll show you how to integrate that one. And then after establishing a trust relationship with AWS, we will be installing a Datadog agent. So something called Datadog agent. It's you will be installing it on EC2. What this agent will do? Agent collects all the metrics. If I say all the metrics, it means like what are the metrics you define to capture, it will capture those metrics. Collect the metrics and push it to Datadog dashboards, I can see. So this is what will be happening if someone asks you what Datadog is, like how to set up Datadog. You can explain them like we need to establish a trust relationship with AWS. Then we will install the Datadog agent on top of EC2 instances. Once you install the agent, this agent will be collecting the metrics and pushing it to Datadog dashboards. Let me share you my this Datadog screen. So this is the Datadog screen. This is how the Datadog. Hello.
Yeah, Nikhil.
Yeah.
You can see.
So if you go to this integration part, so here you can integrate multiple cloud providers. So here we can integrate. You can search what you want to integrate basically. So here we integrated AWS with Datadog. So apart from AWS, we integrated Aerospike, which is called an database service. We have Airflow, which is used by developers team, and all these. If I click on configure AWS, so you'll be getting an integrations, AWS integrations. So this particular ID has established a trust relationship with Datadog. That's the reason why we will able to see. So here you can see the role. What is the role that has been created? AWS role now. So all these AWS roles will be created in AWS console. So you don't need to worry about the establishing trust relationship. So this is about this agent installation. Once you go to this agent, you can select what flavor of Linux you want to install your agent on. You can say Linux. You can usually take Ubuntu or Linux, Amazon Linux. It works for even Windows and Mac machines as well. Suppose if you take Amazon Linux, it will give you all the step-by-step process how to install the agent on the particular EC2 instance. You can see you need to just need to simply copy this command and run it on top of EC2 instance. So once the agent got installed on top of EC2 instance, you can see the infrastructure list. See here, all these instances. So we have installed more than 800 on top of 800 servers. Here showing only 497, but altogether we have more than 800 servers where we installed EC2, this Datadog agent. So this how we will be monitoring. Suppose if I want to monitor this particular prod instance, I'll click on the instance. I will see the metrics over here. Okay, the CPU usage. The CPU usage, you can see the values here. How what is the CPU of usage of current CPU? So what processors are running? So in this RAM, there's almost 97.27 is free, and it's consuming only this particular service is called Apache 2. It's consuming only 0.4%. So this is how we will be seeing Java is consuming only 0.4%. This is what we'll monitor. So simply monitoring is not enough, right? So we need to set alarms for this. So suppose if my CPU usage has reached like 80 or 85%. So we need to trigger the alarm. So before triggering the alarm, what we'll be doing is we will be setting a warning. So our goal is not our EC2 instance should work fine. So to do it, so in order to maintain that EC2 instance and as a healthy host, what we will be doing is we will be configuring a warning message whenever the CPU limit has been increased to 85%. I can say in this way, 85% of CPU has been consumed. So we'll be throwing a warning alert to the users or to the monitoring team. We call it as L1 team. So this team will be logging into a particular instance. They will see like, okay, what are the processes that has been running inside it. They'll monitor for a couple of minutes. And then if they see one more critical alert, like we will be setting two alerts. One is for 85%, one is for 90%. If it reaches 85%, we need to be ready. If it's get automated resolved, then it's fine. Or else we need to go and investigate the why the CPU is consuming so high. That is how we will be monitoring by using Datadog. So you can see the processes which are running here. So we haven't configured in to monitor the processes for this particular instance. So we'll be having monitors here. So we are configured one monitor on top for one instance. So what this monitor says is whenever the CPU is greater than 90%, then it will send you an alert to the particular team. We will be configuring the recipient here. It will be sending a message to the particular team. CPU utilization for BB for this prod mission, the name of the instance is high. It's reached 90%. See, now we have one alert here. Kafka consumer total lag on delay. So it's whenever you see something which you don't understand, right? So this Kafka and all, it's basically it's used by this database team and this developer team. So what our, as a DevOps engineer, what our duty will be is like we need to inform them. Okay, you got, see here, apart from the two recipients which we saw in the earlier, let me show you that earlier, which is active. So if I open this one, here you can see to which team the alert is going. It's going to external DevOps team. So whenever it is marked, when we need to check the alerts and we need to inform this particular team. Though the mail is being received by particular team, we need to inform them. Okay, this particular system has been breached the threshold. You need to look into the particular issue. You see here, we have a couple of other integrations. One is we are sending the email to particular this group, Sentinels group. Apart from that, we are using something called Slack. How many of you are aware of this particular Slack? So Slack is something like, so are you aware of this Teams, Microsoft Teams?
Yes.
So similar to Microsoft Teams, we will be using Slack. I will show you. So you're able to see this one.
Yes.
Yep.
We can see.
So this is called Slack. So mostly you'll be using either Slack or Teams for your internal team communications. So here you will be having something called channels. So right now I said about these AWS notifications, right? So we can configure these AWS alerts, the CloudWatch alerts to receive in your Slack channels. So all these notifications have been received to my Slack channel. So we can integrate the Slack to AWS where we can receive the notifications. So you can see here the AWS health issue for EC2 instance, EC2 service, this particular EC2 instance. There was some error or some CPU hike which has been received on this particular instance. So it will give you all the alerts to your Slack channel itself. So here when you are so you can create your own channels depending upon the company's requirements. So here in the particular project, we have something called the deployment related channels, where all the deployments will be posted here. So what are the deployments? What are the Jenkins jobs which you need to run? All these related deployment related activities will be discussed over in this channel. So you have critical prod alerts. So from New Relic, all the alerts will come to this particular channel. So we configured in such a way the New Relic, what are the alerts will coming, what are the alerts that have been triggered, will be captured in the Slack channel. So whenever you receive a message here, just what we do is we just open the alert here. You can view the issue. It will take you to this particular New Relic web page. So apart from this, I can let me show you. So this is site 24/7. Site 24/7, it works similar to Datadog. We'll install an agent. We'll install the agent, and the agent will be capturing all the metrics to site 24/7. So able to see my screen, right? The site 24/7.
Yes.
So apart from this installing agent on top of instances, what we can monitor these URLs as well as site 24/7. So what we have configured a couple of URLs here. You can see www.bigbasket.com. You can see how this particular URL is working. Are there any outages? Outage means if a certain in the background, how it works is the site 24% is there, right? It will be continuously pinging to this particular domain. So to this domain, there will be something called, ping, right? What is ping means?
Yeah.
So this site 24% will continuously pinging this particular domains which we want to monitor. So we will be 1 second, I will show you. So these are the list of URLs what we configured to monitor. So we can say site 24%, apart from monitoring the infrastructure, we can monitor the URL uptime. So how long, what is uptime of this particular URLs? Uptime is in the background, as I said, this site 24% will be pinging all these URLs. Whatever we configure here, it will be pinging all these URLs in a particular intervals of time. So we configure in such a way, this site 24% should ping this admin.bigbasket.com, www.bigbasket.com at 45 seconds interval. So for every 45 seconds, the site 24% will ping this particular website, and then it will capture the uptime response. If it's not getting any response, we'll mark it as outages. So currently you can see this website is 100% up. Let me show you this. What if some outages were there? So you can see there is one outage. They'll mention the reason as well. The internal server error. Because of the internal server error, we received this outage. It will be clearly giving us report called RCA. RCA is called root cause analysis. If you go to RCA, it will show you, okay, for this particular IP, bigbasket.com, it started pinging from Tokyo region, Bangalore region, and this particular Chengdu region. So it will be pinging this particular URL from all over the world. So we can, it's not like if it's a particular URL is India, it should it will monitor only this Indian location. So site 24% will ping in this URL from multiple various locations. So when it got pinged from this location from Tokyo and Bangalore, it received there's a delay in response time. So this is how we check the outages. So I will show you how the Grafana looks like. Let me show you this. So you saw this Datadog, right? It will show the similar, but it will be the difference between this monitoring tools, right? Some monitoring tools they'll capture way better than some other, like there is some difference in each product, right? Similar way, if you see in this site 24%, it gives a graphical representation. Like so these are all the services which have been running on this particular instance. This Unicorn, Beam, SNP, Sensu agent, CloudWatch agent, site 24% agent. So all these are running this particular instance. So it will give clear graphical representation. You can see like what is happening inside the instance. So you can see this is one of the major difference between site 24% and this one Datadog. In the disk partition, regarding to the disk monitoring, it will clearly show you which partition is consuming more and which partition is active. So the engineer who is working on this monitoring side, they will be having a clear view without logging into the instance. They can straight away say, okay, this process is consuming high, this process is consuming low, and they can do the troubleshooting accordingly. So any question on monitoring? Hello?
Yeah, Nikhil. Sorry?
Any questions on monitoring?
No.
So now I'm just telling you this perspective, like if you go, suppose if you started working on any company, someone asks you like what you're going to monitor, like they definitely ask you like what are the monitoring tools you're going to, because I'm currently working, I know what, like how the people will take interviews on that. So in interviews, they'll definitely ask, apart from the basic questions, the how you position EC2 instance and what all. Coming to observability side, they will ask you like what are the monitoring tools that you're currently using in your project, because all you will be showing this experience, right? So an experienced people will definitely be aware of the certain monitoring tools. You can say like I worked on Neuralink, Datadog, Site 24/7. If you mention these three, the client will be at least you can say, okay, this guy knows some kind of monitoring tools. If they ask you why monitoring tools, you can say the Neuralink we use for application monitoring, Datadog we use for infrastructure monitoring. Apart from Neuralink, Datadog, Datadog Site 24/7, we will be using AWS native solution, which is called AWS CloudWatch. So these are the questions that can rise from the interviewer side. So any questions?
Yeah, Nikhil, I have one small question that apart from CloudWatch, which is a dedicated service of AWS, right? So why is it required to use this third-party application like Datadog and all? Can you please?
Yeah, nice. So do you know where the EC2 instance has been hosted on? So basically,
yeah,
EC2,
AWS.
AWS data centers, right?
Yeah, correct.
We have something called shared responsibility model. So AWS can't have access to all our EC2 instances. They'll be having access to the hardware itself. They can't go inside EC2 instance. They can't see all this metrics on them. So only the basic metrics which they can analyze is the CPU. That's it. Because it is provision on hypervisor. You know hypervisors, right?
Yeah.
So they can see only CPU. If you want to see all the metrics, the RAM, the disk space, and everything, even CloudWatch has a solution called, we need to install CloudWatch agent.
Okay.
If you install CloudWatch agent, AWS will provide you all the RAM, the disk space, and the further, apart from the basic monitoring, it will provide you this enhanced monitoring on it. You can see on the each and every instance, if you go to the monitoring, you can see like you can switch to detailed monitoring. If you switch to detailed monitoring, it will ask to install agent and it will capture all the metrics which we are seeing in Datadog or Site 24/7. It depends upon the pricing. So all the companies will go after the pricing. If they definitely go for the less pricing, right?
Correct.
So that's why they will be using this third-party monitoring tools.
Okay, I understand. For the budget purpose, they go for this third-party application, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Understood. Thank you.
So any questions? You can feel free. I can answer your questions. So today, Srikanth sir asked me to show how this in real time what we'll be doing and how we are going to monitor this infrastructure. That's why he asked me to take like 1 hour session on it. So I quickly tell you my roles and responsibilities. Like once you join, it will be helpful for you also to describe your like what you're doing in previous company and all. It will be useful. This conversation will be useful to you. So here we will be monitoring. So we'll be having couple of we'll be segregating the teams as L1, L2, and L3. So L1 people, there's only they'll monitor the infrastructure. So they open all the dashboards. They'll capture all the alerts. Like if you're getting alerts from Datadog, the AWS, what are the 5 errors, 4 errors, what are the target response times? They'll monitor the load balancers. They'll monitor the target groups. So are you aware of these load balancers and target groups?
Yes, yes.
So if you're not so how about the remaining people? Do you want me to discuss about this load balance and target groups?
Yeah, you can continue, Bhargav.
So basically, I'll just give you a high level overview. So whenever traffic is coming from internet, suppose if you hit Zomato.com, if the infrastructure is hosted in AWS, it will hit this load balancer first. So inside the load balancer, we have something called target groups. Inside the target groups, we'll be having a couple of instances attached to target. So mentioning as instances, so instead of mentioning them as instances, we can mention them as host. So load balancer will be having target groups. Target groups is a place where we will be placing all the hosts. Inside the host, we will be installing our application. So the traffic goes like this. Whenever the traffic comes to load balancer target groups to the particular host which has been configured inside the target groups. So we will be monitoring all these load balancers, target groups by using Datadog and AWS CloudWatch Site 24/7. So if there is any issue with the CPU, RAM, or any disk space alert, is there any high target response time alerts, we will be logging into the particular servers and we will be troubleshooting it. When I say troubleshooting, it's like we will be checking the logs. Suppose if there's a disk space has been consumed very high, what we'll do is we'll just see how much space is available and we'll see which log is consuming more, and we'll write a cron jobs to delete the logs automatically. Instead of deleting the logs, you can also do something called log rotation. We'll zip all the logs for a particular day and put it in a separate folder, or else we'll push it to the S3 bucket. If there's some important logs, then we'll something called, if there's some application logs, so we'll push the application logs to the S3 buckets. So there will be one cron job will be running in the background where it will take all the logs from particular day and it will pushing to the particular S3 bucket on a daily basis. Apart from this, we can say we are involved in the deployments activity. So I think probably down the line you will be getting to know what deployments is, how to use Jenkins. So are you aware of this ticketing tools?
No, we have just started today.
Okay. So in the real time, we are using ticketing tool called Jira. Anyone heard about of this Jira ticketing tool?
Yeah, today we have just heard. We have discussed about it.
Okay. So Jira ticketing tool, let me show you the dashboard once quickly. So this is where you will be receiving the tickets. Okay, there will be one dashboard which will be assigned to you. And then in this dashboard, you will be receiving the tickets. Suppose if I open this particular ticket. So it's asking list of non-prod servers for installing Site 24/7 agent. So they will be assigning you this kind of tickets. And then when you started working on it, you can log the time over here. So time tracking is there, right? You can log how long it's going to take. It may take 1 hour. Save it. And then you need to mark this one as in progress because you started working on it, right? So we'll be marking it as in progress. So whenever you finish, suppose if you take it here, this access to particular servers. So this access to particular servers, once you started work, once you provision the access, we'll mark it as waiting for update. Now it is in waiting for update. And once a particular customer they responds on this particular ticket, then we'll mark it as done. So you can say the flow like this. So when in the Jira dashboard, we'll be getting tickets assigned to our name. When we start working, we mark it as in progress. And when finish the work, we'll waiting for some other. So there'll be certain kind of dependencies sometimes. So we will be, we can say when we need an update from any other team, the cross teams will be there, right? So we'll be getting in touch with the team. We'll be waiting for an update. Once the ticket is resolved, we'll mark it as done. So this is how we use this Jira dashboard. So any other questions? How we work in real time or? So
No, Nikhil, nothing.
okay, then I think we can wind up. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you for
Thank you,
explaining.
Nikhil. Thank you.
So, Nikhil, like after now from tomorrow onwards, this DevOps classes will start for us. So
Okay.
on weekly basis, like you will be taking this live session, like the monitorings and everything.
Yeah, I will be whenever. Suppose if they start deployments, right, Jenkins and all, I will show
Yes,
you like
yes.
in the live project how we do the deployments. What is the daily?
Okay.
What is the planned release? What is ad hoc release? What is S1 issue? How to get into the how to troubleshoot the S1 issues? So probably I
Yeah.
will be discussing those things.
Okay. So yeah, because as of now only AWS has been completed. From tomorrow, DevOps classes will start. Then we'll come to know the issues, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I request you all one thing, like whenever you're going through the EC2 or VPC, so this AWS running, you start basically with VPC. Once you understand the VPC concepts properly, then you can easily troubleshoot any issue.
Okay.
So you start with VPC and then you can, because the simple thing is like if a user is this particular IP is not connecting, so we can simply go and check this whether the internet gateway is attached or not, whether NAT gateway is attached or not, how the routes has been decided. So you need to go through. You need to understand the flow. What might be the problem? So once you start practicing, right, if you be understanding, you can know where the issue is. Because once they push you in any project, they can simply say this is a basic thing. How can you miss this one? To avoid all those things, please practice as much as you can. And I will share you the lab links. These are free labs. Once you have the AWS account, they will give you a step-by-step process how to. There will be various labs, like you can work on transit gateways, like how to connect between 4 different VPCs. So you can all practice in your own account. It won't charge much, and you can host a website in S3. So if you already completed AWS, right, it's better you started working, take some use case scenarios and started to implement those scenarios in your own AWS account. Then you can learn. So then there's some meaning in your learning. So you are taking some training means you need to implement it, right? So anyhow, you need to implement it once you get the job. But before going to the job into real-time scenario, it's better to simulate your own work environment and try to monitor, try to provision the resources and all. Okay.
Okay, Nikhil. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Nikhil.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.